we want to give you a look at our top 5. Yesterday, we talked with Paul Catalina from 365 Sports. And Paul, at the end of our segment with him, we were talking about the Cowboys draft, actually. But I asked him, I said, where's Sawyer Robertson going to go in the draft? I want you to, predict the future for us. He said top 20. And then he went on to say, which was kind of low-hanging fruit, not a knock on Paul, but it turned out to be a great point, was I shouldn't even call it low-hanging fruit. It was just a great point by Paul that I didn't think of first. The Big 12 quarterbacks, the quarterbacks in the Big 12 will probably be the best quarterback play in the country overall from a conference. And then he started to name names, and I was like, wow. And this morning, I asked Scotty, I said, let's rank our top 5 Big 12 quarterbacks. And we're going to go through who we have in our top 5. Scotty's going to go first. And I'm curious to see what he has to say. Remember now, no more Shedeur Sanders, which is maybe a relief for a lot of people. But here's Scotty's top 5. Scotty, go ahead, give it to me.
All right, let's get it. So there were like 11 guys I legitimately thought about for this list. It's a deep quarterback conference this season. Here are my 5. First, I got to give some love to Rocco Becht. I was thinking about this. If being a quarterback is about putting games on your shoulders and winning the game, Rocco Becht, someone I trust to do it. Iowa State, I know their performance in the Big 12 championship game was underwhelming. That's not on Rocco Becht. Like, that dude pretty much dragged that team to that championship game. He's only going to be better this year. I think he's really, really dynamic and a good quarterback. My newcomer of the year, who I think is going to be just so dangerous, is Caden Salter at Colorado. This is a guy who 2 seasons ago threw for 3,000 yards and rushed for 1,200 more. He is electric. No, 2 seasons ago at Liberty.
Okay.
Yeah. He's a 4-year player, 3-year starter, at least in spots at Liberty.
Who was the freshman that they got?
Julian.
Yeah, that guy might start.
No, he's not. Caden Salter's going to start.
Okay.
Mark my words. We'll come back to it. Yeah.
Okay.
No, Caden Salter is going to start, and Caden Salter is going to be very, very good. I think this is a prove-it year for Deion, right? Like, I
agree.
You signed a big deal. You're staying. Your sons are gone. Like, and I think Caden Salter is going to be a dude. Like, I really, really think he's a great quarterback.
He'll go 5-6 and take a job coaching the Jets, and then the Colorado will be stuck with number 2 hanging in the rafters forever.
We'll see.
Okay.
Number 3, and everybody here knows I have no love for TCU at all. But I could not excuse not putting Josh Hoover.
The gunslinger.
Josh Hoover is a very good quarterback. I think he's better than Max Duggan, who took them to the national championship.
4,000 yards last year.
Dude, he's an outstanding quarterback. He's a
27
very good
touchdowns,
passer,
I think.
Accurate, smart with the football.
Yeah.
This was unintentional, but I looked it up a second ago. My top 3 are the 3 returning highest QBRs in the Big 12 in order. So Josh Hoover had the 4th highest QBR last year, behind my next 2 and Shedeur Sanders. He will improve. TCU, I think, is a dark horse in this league. 2 for me is Sam Leavitt. He was obviously first team All Big 12 last season. Played very well in the playoff game against Texas, especially once they got kind of that first half jitters out. I know there's a lot of love for Cam Scattaboo, but that team does not do what they do last season without him. And he was a freshman. He's a freshman last year, Pete. He's going to be super good this year. And the number 1, no surprise, but it's not bias. I really think he's the best quarterback in the league. Sawyer Robertson, highest QBR in America, coming back in college football this season, running a really dynamic offense with a lot of weapons. I think Baylor is a real threat to win the league. I think Sawyer makes it go. Like, I think he is going to be a revelation for some people.
I want to ask you a question about
your list. Ask me a question.
Why do you not have Jake Retzloff or Avery Johnson?
Okay. One of those players I did not even consider. I think Avery Johnson is the most overrated player in the Big 12.
Is that you didn't consider him?
Didn't even consider him. I don't think he's top 5 at all. Not even close. Like, he's closer to bottom 5.
Not even close.
What did he do last year that showed you he's better?
Oh my God, he's a total dual threat. I mean, the guy literally.
By the way, he's not on Pete's list either. Spoiler alert.
He's sick. He's 6. But he's
over Rocco Becht.
Yeah,
No, dude.
Yes.
One of these quarterbacks had their play. Okay, Kansas State was projected to be in the hunt for the Big 12 championship, and they sucked. They flopped hard. They're going to flop harder this season, by the way.
Avery Johnson was a freshman.
Okay, and so was Sam Leavitt. What's the difference?
Sam Levitt had a better supporting cast.
No. Sam Levitt was a much better quarterback also. And you know it too because he's on your top 5 and Avery Johnson's
All right, let's
not.
look at my top
So hold
5.
on. I'm going to answer your question about
Jake.
Jake was the other one. Number 5 came down to Rocco and Jake.
Mm-hmm.
Those were the two because to me they're very similar. They're very similar players.
Okay.
They're both guys that I trust in the clutch to win a football game. Rocco Beck made the Big 12 championship game. It was really that simple.
He got killed.
Yeah, but like Iowa State, this is the same reason I tell people when they knock LeBron for going to 10 finals, tying our topics together today. It's like, yeah, but the man made 10 finals. Like he got there. Like I'm not going to give someone credit for not even reaching the finish line, right?
Yeah.
Like Rocco Beck, like Jake, love him. BYU's a threat to win the league again this year, but they fell short at the end of the season, and Iowa State did not. So if I had to win a game in the clutch, I'm taking Rocco Beck.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, let's check out my rankings.
Let's do it. Tell us 5-1.
All right, number 5. Let me go to my list. See how hell-bent I am on it. I forgot it already. All right. Jalen Daniels. Okay?
Yep.
So Jalen Daniels is a guy. Slow start.
So Avery Johnson's not even the best quarterback in Kansas, is what you're saying.
Slow start last year for Jalen Daniels, right? But and the numbers don't reflect. 16 touchdowns, 12 interceptions, but his ability to run the football. And I think Kansas, if you remember how white hot they were at the end of last year, nobody wanted to play them. I compared them to Omar from The Wire because every time you saw Kansas coming, you knew you were screwed, especially if you were like a top 25 team. Baylor finally put the kibosh on that late in the year by
Sawyer started that game 9 for 9 for like 200 yards.
Yeah, they obliterated him. But I really like Jalen Daniels. Remember now, I think this is his 3rd year coming back as a starter.
Yes. He's a great player.
Yeah, I expect great things from him. Jake Retzloff at 4. I don't think you can deny how well he played last year for BYU in so many big moments. He found that juju, right? Like he showed us last year that he's a winner, and those wins parlayed into big time confidence. They dismantled Colorado in a bowl game late in the year in the matchup that everybody had wanted to see. I love Jake Retzloff, and I really like where he's headed as a quarterback, and I think he's got a lot to prove this year. He threw for, I think, 3,000 yards last year. Yeah, 3,000 yards, 20 touchdowns, just 12 picks, sacked 18 times. His quarterback rating's 136. That's pretty good, dude. Okay?
He's a good player. I considered him for mine. I just told you that.
Considered him. All right, Sam Levitt at 3. Okay, Sam Levitt showed us everything he needed to show us last year. I think one of the big moments for Arizona State last year was they lost their best wide receiver going into the Big 12 title game and into the college football playoff. And Levitt was still able to show, hey, this is kind of my show. Yep. I'm in control here. They were a targeting penalty away from advancing in the playoffs against Texas. That had a lot to what Cam Scotty, yes, very much so. But there were games that Cam Scotty missed that Sam Levitt took over and everything was fine. You know what I mean? Like he found a way to win. They found a way to win without him. Here's my surprise. Number 2, Connor Wegman. Okay, here's why. So here's why I say this. Every year, we get a guy who we didn't expect to be the guy and a team that we don't expect to be the team, and they make a run and they surprise us. And I think the table is setting up for Willie Fritz in Houston to be that team this year with Connor Wegman. I think he was 4-1 last year at A&M before he got hurt to end the season, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't remember.
But he was good, okay?
He was inconsistent.
Look, I think his starting record at A&M was like 7-2. He was injured last year, totally cut his season short. Cypress, Texas guy, playing in Houston. A lot to like about the possibility of them being that team that grabs you by the shirt and says, hey, remember us? Yeah, that's right. We're back. The Cougs. Okay? And number 1, Sawyer Robertson. I just don't think you can deny. I think this is such an exciting time to be a Baylor fan. I can't wait. I love hype, okay? I do. And it's part of the issue. It's part of the reason I fell in love with college football, but it's also part of my problem overall as a person. I love the excitement around a Heisman campaign. I'm really waiting to see what we cook up with this summer heading into fall camp around Sawyer Robertson. And what I mean is, like, let's get a Heisman campaign going. Let's go. I'm telling you, dude, like, Sawyer Robertson, like, we talked top 20 yesterday with Catalina. He could be like top 5. Like he could be in a quarterback heavy draft.
Oh, you're gonna make me feel things, Pete.
No, I'm just telling you, like, when is the last time, and I'll ask you this, Scotty, because we can end on a positive note so we don't have to fight again. When is the last time there was this much hype around a Baylor quarterback? It would be RG3, right?
No. It was 2015 with Seth Russell. It was.
Okay.
Yeah. No. Like, and legitimately, you ask any Baylor fan of the last however long, we all thought Seth Russell was Heisman bound in 15. He led the country in every passing category going into week 7.
Yeah, but hold on.
He that's the same.
You know way more about Seth Russell than I do. I'm not here to pretend.
Corey Coleman did win the Biletnikoff that year. That is the best offense Baylor's ever fielded to that point.
What were his measurables, Seth Russell?
Dude, he was like 6'4". He was like Sawyer size and much faster. And I'm not ripping Sawyer. Did you see the spider charts, though?
Oh, Christ, with your spider charts. Yes.
No, look at the spider charts. They have the same spider chart, except Seth Russell ran like a 4.4.
Yeah, you're right. Seth Russell 6'3", 205. Forgive my ignorance. Okay.
And he ran like a 4.4.
Okay.
He was insane.
So,
bro.
I mean, again, forgive me. What happened to him his senior year? That was the year everything blew up?
That was going into his junior year. He was going to be a 2-year starter. 2016 was his senior year.
So he was kind of swallowed up by the scandal.
15. Yes. 15, here's what happened.
So that was a Jim Grobe year, right?
Yeah. Well, 16 was the Jim Grobe.
Okay.
15 was Bryle's final season.
Okay.
Seth was the starter.
Okay.
They were 7-0. He had the best numbers in every category in the country. Corey Coleman had like 14 touchdowns in the first 6 games of the season. It was stupid video game offense.
Yeah.
Better than RG3 ever had, and that's not knocking RG3. He broke a disc in his neck on a run against Iowa State at home. He went up in the middle. He came down like this to take contact. And I don't want to misspeak. Maybe it wasn't broken. It was a neck injury that took him out for the season.
Wow.
In week 7 against Iowa State. Homecoming.
And that kind of...
Dude, that team... That's the team that... Jarrett Stidham got hurt next. Chris Johnson got hurt next. We lost by 1 score against Texas with no quarterback in the game, and then went to against North Carolina in a bowl game with no quarterback in the game and set a bowl record for rushing yards, and they couldn't stop it. It was actually one of the most exciting Baylor teams ever. But you asked me a question.
Yeah, no, that's a great answer.
The hype around Seth Russell in 2015,
heading into the season,
I would say was equivalent. Yes, because we'd seen him in backup time.
Yeah.
We knew he was big, strong, fast. I would say it was about equivalent to what. But nobody's been close since.
Yeah.
And Sawyer's at that level.
Here's the one thing about Sawyer that I think is super exciting. He was battle tested last year and came through. And I'm talking
Facts.
about there were dark times. The guy has found a way to play through of all the darkness, and I'm looking forward to just quite the crescendo this year. All right.
So hold on. You got to ask me questions. I'm going to ask you 2 questions real quick. Then we'll get to Randy Galloway.
Yeah. Inside the 12's Pete Souza. About to get owned here.
How do you leave Josh Hoover off this list?
Okay.
Because I hate to be the guy shilling for TCU. That honestly makes me sick.
It was an oversight. If I'm honest, I screwed up. I screwed up. I'm not going to come up with some big over the top argument. I messed up.
We love Jalen Daniels, but see ya. That's hilarious. And then here's what I found interesting.
By the way, his sister is the greatest. Hannah, the coolest. Dude.
When I got your list this morning, here's the other thing I noticed. We are both banking on a newcomer being a great quarterback in this conference. We just think it's a different guy.
Yeah.
You'd ride with Connor, and I'm going to ride with Caden Salter.
Yeah, I do.
I think that's exciting.
I think it is too.